What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Sweet and Sour Show. Today, we have a very special guest with us, and we're very excited to, talk to him, ask him a few questions, and get some of his insights. But to start, we're gonna talk about what happened in the last week in, in Houston and in general. Brian, we have some more sports news. We're turning into a sports show.
Every week, it feels like we're saying goodbye to another sports superstar in Houston.
How Houston sports is ruined in like 2 seconds. But a goodbye to George Springer. You know, if you guys, I feel like even if you're not a baseball fan, you kind of know who George Springer is because he was pretty big in our championship win, I guess. No asterisk with that.
No asterisk for sure.
No asterisk
we earned that one.
We earned that one.
But hey, you got to get your money, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad or anything.
Yeah.
Only James Harden I don't like. But
Hey,
anyway.
Hey.
But other news, inauguration happened. So a new era started, new president. So hopefully, we'll all be moving in the right direction.
For sure.
But so we're going to move along and introduce our guest today. His name is Duc Hoang. Right, I said your last name, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, he is Fooodeelicious with 3 O's and 2 E's on Instagram.
Thank you for that.
He's a Houston food blogger, founder of Grub Club, photographer, and I can go on and on and on, but let's go ahead and say hi to Duc. And Duc, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, just first of all, it was really great seeing you again. Haven't seen you for so long.
A year.
Yeah. So first of all, my name is Duc Hoang. I have a food page called Fooodeelicious, and I've been doing it for about 5 years now. I pretty much just started off just kind of, I love taking food photos. And I started off just kind of doing it for fun, and then it became something a little bit more bigger. I got to know a little bit more about the local restaurants, about what they do. And I got really interested in kind of learning people's stories. And so, yeah, that's what, I started doing.
Yeah, Duc is one of the OGs, I would say.
I wouldn't say I'm the OG, but I definitely...
Right behind the OG.
Yeah, right behind the OG for sure.
Who we say? Is it Julie?
Julie been there for a while,
Julie
too.
Jules.
Iris from
Iris.
Hungry Petite.
Hungry Petite, yeah. That's
she's
right.
Been doing it for a while.
But, yeah, I mean, Duc is one of the, I would say, bigger, platform blogger, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of... so, you talked about Grub Club earlier.
Yeah.
And... I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Duc is the founder of Grub Club. So tell us, what is Grub Club for people that, they're not familiar with the, social media food industry? Yeah,
so 5 years ago when I started doing food blogging, I just kind of look around in the food community, and I realized that we didn't have any sort of community. Everyone was just doing everything for themselves. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of bring people together to go eat and then help out local restaurants. And so I had this idea where I reach out to every single food blogger that I think has the potential, has the right idea, and, at the same time, I enjoy their work. So I start messaging everyone. And that's how the Grub Club sort of kind of started. To form a little bit, I add everyone into a group message. At first, they look at me like, yo, who is this kid? Why is he messaging me? And just kind of hey, let's make a group together and things like that. So for 3 or 4 months, they just kind of ignore me. I'm just on the side, screw this kid, right? Wherever. Until I was like, you know what? Hey, I can actually, help you guys in terms of, collaborating with restaurants. That way we can use our influence to help local restaurants, and at the same time going out and to kind of meet each other, and using that idea to grow into something bigger, which is bringing Houston food scene to a next level. Mm-hmm. Because if you look on, I think 7 or 6 years ago, you look on Instagram, you will never see any Houston food spot on Instagram, never.
Yeah.
And so my idea was to kind of bring Houston onto that level.
Yeah.
And so everyone's just like, you know what, I kind of like this. And so they start to come out. We start to meet up, and it became Grub Club, which is a whole group of us who go out to eat, supporting locals.
Right.
And yeah,
So,
pretty
so
much.
it's basically just a strong group of food bloggers together joining forces to bring attention to smaller restaurants that people might not know about.
Yes, that's pretty much the idea of it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Brian?
Yeah, I was just thinking about like because I always see like bigger articles, like say Forbes or something, always talk about Houston as like the most diverse city for food and culture, and I feel like it's lacking, like just like education wise. Like, so people in Sugarland or like people in Katy are always like, oh, we only stay in Sugarland or Katy, but they're missing out on that culture. And I think like Grub Club and stuff like that is really good, and you know, sharing like, oh, like I really want to eat at a good restaurant, or like somebody comes from out of town, it's like, hey, like take me somewhere really good, and they go to like the Cheesecake Factory, and then you're like, oh, whoa, like, you know, like we have amazing restaurants, amazing chefs, and I think like social media really like helps push that diversity out there, show different restaurants.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's like a creative way also to bring a spotlight, you know, into these restaurants, into the industry. You know, I think food bloggers are also creatives as well, because you're creating content, right? And a lot of people, like including myself, I guess, before I even got into the Instagram world, I was like, okay, so you put a picture on Instagram, and what else do you do, right? When I like, I guess, found this food blogging world on Instagram, I guess, I realized there's so much behind it. You know, there's a lot of planning. Like, I'm not just taking a picture. I gotta think about, what am I gonna say? Like, what's gonna bring? What can I say to, I guess, let my followers, make my followers want to go to this restaurant, right? What's gonna make this appealing to them? And it's a lot of work, which a lot of people.
Sorry.
We got our first.
That's me. My bad. Forgot to mute my phone.
Where's the foul jar? We're gonna make every guest put in $5 every.
Sorry about that.
Nah, you good. We have our it's a tradition now. Every episode we got a little, either like someone like driving by honking for no reason, or you know,
somebody comes in the door, starts screaming like for no reason.
Yeah, somebody just like staring at us.
It's normal. It's normal.
It's normal. It's normal. But I don't know, what was I saying? We were talking about being creatives, so that is kind of what, you know, me and Brian, we're creatives, and we want to just talk to the creative community in Houston and just bring everybody together, and that's kind of, you know, a gist of what our
definitely
show
just
is.
expanding, like just bringing everybody together. And because there's times where, like Michael says all the time, like, oh, if he eats, he wants everybody to eat. So like there might be something, like you might know somebody who might need some service or something, but it's not your expertise, and then you can like easily share with everybody. But just like to touch back on like the food community, it's just like amazing how much, like you said, has grown in the last 5 years, where I can open like my Instagram, like, oh man, I'm really hungry. Like, where can I go? And like places I've never even thought of going, or like, hey, like I've driven by this place 100 times, and like you see a photo from there, like, oh wow, like if people vouch for it, like you know, just shouting it out, like, and that helps small businesses. Like I said, like when you come to Houston, like people are like, oh, let's go to the Galleria. What's in the Galleria? Oh, Cheesecake Factory. Oh, there's a Chili's. Like, you know, like it's very frustrating, like when you just go to the same chains and like. You know?
I do want to go back on what Brian said earlier, which is like people tend to stay wherever they live. So like Sugarland, I live in Pearland. Some people live in like Montreal. They don't go outside beyond that area. But Houston is so diverse, which is like sometimes I talk to even my friends, and I'm like, you guys don't go out and like try new things. And I think the reason why even for me, if I didn't start doing food blogging, I don't think I would have gone out and tried new food. And I think the reason why we kind of people, even kids nowadays, starting to like, you know what, I want to go try out this new thing. I want to go to Chinatown. I want to go to different area. It's majority due from social media, because when there is something that you see on social media that's like trendy, you also want to be part of it. And I feel like people feel like they are missing out on certain things and they want to be part of that community. So that's why I think as a whole, food community, Instagram, it's really great for local business.
Yeah, yeah, and I think with what you said, that's why a lot of I would say newer businesses are trying to make the store very, what's that word? Instagrammable.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's overkill.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Honestly, like, man, there's green grass wall there. There's like 5 neon signs. Like, okay,
but that's part of it.
That's part of it.
You want people to come
Part of
take pictures,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
like
it's a new way of, I guess, advertising.
More than
Yeah.
just food.
More than just
just food.
right?
because like in the past year, like TikToks, right? And you always see like like food accounts, like what is it called? The Yo-Yo's hot dogs, right? Like
Yeah.
I used to drive by that place all the time. Now every time I drive by, at least 30 people in line.
Oh man, yo-yos! Like I love yo-yos, but the line is just.
I'm not waiting 30 minutes for it. I'm sorry. I mean, it's great.
Yeah,
like,
I love yo-yos, but I'm not waiting behind like 30, 50 people.
Yeah, and then what happens when you see everybody get their food, pull their phone out, boom, like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, so just the impact of it is wild to think about.
Yeah, and I think there's, I love that actually. It's like just share. Yeah, live in the moment, but like sometimes you just want to like share good things with other people, and how else you gonna do it except take a picture, right? And there's like accounts that's like, oh, pictures of people taking pictures of food, like shaming them. Like, man, get out of here. I know this is completely out of the, but I just had to get that off my chest real quick. But yeah. So, Duke, I know you've done commercials before, right? We're not gonna say what you've done, like who you've done it with, but
Okay.
tell us the experience of that. Right? How did that come about?
So I mean, I was just chilling one day, got an email and then a phone call.
Yeah.
From a brand that want me to be part of a commercial. At first, I was kind of like, oh man, I don't know if I don't know. I've never been on like a I like being behind the camera, but
Yeah.
I usually don't like to be in front of the camera that much. So I was just kind of hesitant, and then I was like, you know what, let's do it. Turned out really great. Like turnout was probably one of the biggest things I've been a part with. And one thing that was really funny was, oh man, I don't know how to say the whole story without telling like who I work with and things like that. But let's just say they were really strict on what I need to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's say it was like we'll call it a water company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Water.
And
Michael's Water. Michael's Water.
Michael's Water.
Yeah, Michael's Water. And then so okay, so we'll go off with Michael's Water.
Okay, so let's say I'm working with Michael Water,
TM.
and if let's say on a day-to-day basis, right? I
You
still drink
Brian's
water.
Yeah, yeah.
If I post Brian's Water or even like a clips of it, Michael Water would reach out to me, text me right at that moment, and say, "You need to take it down right now because you are not allowed."
Hey man, you working for Michael Water? I don't need to see Brian's Water in there. No, I mean that's interesting, but it makes sense to me.
It
right?
makes
Like,
sense, yeah.
You are at that point. You are kind of like the face. I wouldn't say like the continued face, but for that specific ad, you are the face of it. So people, some people might see it and be like, "Oh, I resonate this guy with this brand," but why is he?
Yeah.
It's kind of like athletes that signs with like Adidas, and then they're like, "Oh, you can't wear Nike." Like, I don't care if you love
Yeah.
Nike, but
And
you cannot wear Nike.
And it's pretty common sense too for
Yeah.
like sponsor to not have other, I guess, competitions.
Yeah,
Showing on for their influencer.
right.
So
You know what's funny? It's kind of like the Samsung when they released their phones. I saw this recently. Actually, they on Twitter they were tweeting about how like the phone, the announcement of the phone on a certain day, and on the bottom it says tweeted on an iPhone.
Oh my god.
So that's just hilarious to me. It's on the Samsung
Oh,
account.
no.
It's like tweeted on an iPhone. Like,
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
craziest thing for me is like how he was saying is like they're watching him at all times. You know, like it's wild. Like, you know, he posts a story and they're like, "Hey, take it down." And it's something like subconscious, like, "Oh, hey, it was in the background. That wasn't even his shot." But like, they have people watching him at all times to
Yeah.
make sure, you know, even if it's not the subject of his post, like, "Hey, there's
right.
this other brand in the background. Delete it." Like, whoa.
It's
Like,
it's kind of wild.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild.
I think it depends too, because I think the one that I was working with was a big major partner.
Yeah.
So they actually had like more people like just kind of securing.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting to know because we've never worked with any major brands, so it's interesting to know that that's the type of.
Yeah, no, I was shocked too. I was like, I got a text. Who is this number?
Okay. Like delete it now.
yeah, so like to expand a little on brand deals, like I guess just looking through your social media,
Mm-hmm.
you can see that you do like quite a bit of different things for different brands. Is it like they just send you like an email like, "Hey, like we want you to shout out our product," and then X amount of dollars, and then do they all have these rules like, "Oh, you can't do this with it," or you have to be always positive?
If I'm being honest, so like a lot of brands reach out to me like almost like every week. The cool thing about this is like this is not my full-time job, so I can be as honest as I can, without having to feel like, oh man, I need to do this for the bread.
Yeah.
In that terms. So unless I really like the brand, I would only work with that brand only. So if I work with something, that means I'm already kind of behind it, liking their product and things like that. And in terms of like policy and like what I can do or what I cannot not do, every brand have its own policy, which is like, for example, like, you know, just wherever you do, just don't post a competitor within like a certain amount period. Which is like no issue with me.
Yeah.
Because you on a day-to-day basis, you just kind of don't go out and just find that other brand to eat, you know, like
Yeah.
usually I just go out and eat restaurants, so it's really never like an issue.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Sometimes I'm just like, not really like brand deals or anything, but like, or let's say like food industry people that reach out, and you know, okay, so I'm kind of doing what Duke does, but on like a very minor level. So I do get reached out sometimes by certain places, and for me, it's kind of like I if I want to go, I'm gonna say yes, but I also like look at you and be like, is this something I want? And then it's like, if it's not, I'm not gonna come and make a fake, you know, happy like, I love this, you
Yeah.
know, kind of thing. I think I guess what I'm trying to say is like integrity is very important, and then you have to believe,
definitely.
you have to buy in to the product or the brand.
Yeah.
You know, in order to make a good post.
Yo, definitely. So just want to clarify, brand deals here is like anything that's like really like franchisee, like I'm talking
Yeah.
about like Coca-Cola, like Pepsi, like that
Right.
kind of thing. But for restaurants, I don't. For restaurants wise, like when they reach out to me,
Yeah.
I also get now I pick and choose where I want to go as well.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, like people don't believe this, but majority of the time I spend my own money, which
Yeah.
is like a lot of money
Right.
for like a week or like wherever I go eat.
Yeah.
It's just because I feel like when I first started out, I was just going everywhere. Anyone that reached out to me, I'm like, you know what? I want to go try it out. And there are times when there are foods where I really don't like the food. And I would tell them, I would let the restaurant know, like, hey, like, I don't think I want to post this because I don't think it's good enough to post. And I'll let them know. And most of the time, they're pretty understandable. There are some people who like, hey, come on now, like, I invited you in, you should post for us at least, like say something positive. And so I had to kind of make a stand for myself, which is like, I was like, hey, like I still want to be honest with my reviews and things like that. So eventually I think people just kind of like restaurants who reach out to me just kind of caught on to that, which is like, if I'm posting something, even when you invited me out, I'm going to say what it
Truly
really is.
think.
Yeah. And at the same time too, like It's not like I'm doing myself a favor for anything, but I just like doing it. I don't charge local restaurant money ever. So it's all for free. I'm just helping them out. So no one really complained about anything.
Yeah. No, I can speak to that because Duke has helped my clients before, and it's much appreciated. And that's what I like about Duke.
I appreciate it, man.
How he is.
Yeah, so I think like in what he was saying about like keeping everything honest, like I think integrity is very important, because posting fake reviews and like, oh man, this hot dog place is amazing, and then like his following goes and checks it out, it's like, oh, this place is low quality, and like like it kind of like compromises like your reviews, like people don't take you seriously. But some people do it for the money, some people like Duke here, it's like honest, then I commend that. So
yeah,
that's really important.
Props to that. Duke, I want to ask you, so I mean, you've been doing this for a while now, and you talked a lot about helping businesses and just the community. So was there like a satisfying moment or like the best moment you've had that relates to helping a restaurant out?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the best part about like helping just local restaurants is just kind of seeing them doing well. They majority of the time they would reach back out to me and they were like, hey, like you actually really helped us this month. And like some restaurant is like they were on the verge of just shutting down even. And then when we came in with our Grub Club, or even me sometimes, and just kind of knowing that in the past we have saved business and like that's someone else's life, I think that was like one of the best feeling, just being able to kind of save someone. And on top of that too, just kind of before COVID and everything, I would go around to like Chinatown a lot, and a lot of people would recognize me, and I think that's really cool because it's not like normal to kind of like I don't think myself as like a big food blogger or anything. But when you just kind of like walking around, people just like, hey man, like I like your photos, or like I like what you do and things like that. That just kind of help you to be like more motivated.
Yeah, more motivated to continue.
Continue doing it, and like at the end of the day, it just kind of helped to kind of make everything, I guess, like make sense. Just
like there is a like a point to what you're doing. Yeah, there's a purpose.
Yeah, because in the beginning I was just doing it because I love doing photography, and I still love taking food photography. But like beyond that, there's more reason to do it now.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, it was cool to start, taking photos of food and talking about restaurants, but then it's like after a while you're kind of like, okay, why am I still doing this, right? What is the purpose of it? Mm-hmm. And then I guess that's what the majority of okay, I don't want to say majority, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but for me as well, like that's the the main purpose is to find purpose, if that makes any sense. But to find purpose in what we're doing, right? Mm-hmm. For in this case, it's to help restaurants, and it's just something that a lot of people don't understand as well in what we do. That's a whole
different story.
It's a whole different story. I'm not gonna do the shout out. I'm not gonna do the shameless plug this time.
No, you might as well, because you do it every episode.
It's a trend. Yeah, it's a trend. So dude, I don't know if you know, we probably don't know, but for the past 4 episodes, we were talking about something, and it just somehow comes back to me shamelessly plugging my documentary that I did with Julie Jules.
Oh yeah, no, that was a great video. Like,
and Brian's just laughing because like every episode I find it just somehow comes up.
He finds a way to include it every time.
I mean, it just comes up.
Yeah, no,
I'm proud of my work.
You deserve it. That was really good work.
Appreciate it, and I'm gonna do something with Duke too.
He always sets it up to where he can be like, oh, this brings me back to reference my documentary. Like, okay, we get it. Like,
I don't set it up. It just
leave the link in the show notes, and just leave the link in the show notes.
I have, but we're gonna have one with Duke soon. We talked about it for a while, but
we've been talking about it for a while.
But it's just, man, with the whole
Yeah, with the whole
pandemic,
COVID.
and it's
Mhm.
like I got a lot of like ideas and plans, but it's just
Yeah.
figuring everything out. But anyway, so let's continue. I want to ask you, so as a creative, right? As a content creator in the food world, you know, is it ever very difficult to, find content to create? Does that make sense? Does that
Yeah,
question make
no,
sense?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely. I think there are two sides of me. One is like I know what people want to see, which is like really like junky food, dessert, anything like that would girls do really well. The other side of me is like I want to try food that are not that appealing. It doesn't great for photo. I know it's not gonna do well for Instagram. And so sometimes it's just me, just kind of like, oh man, what do I want to do? Like, I really want to talk about this place, but at the same time, there's a really cool trendy spot down the street that I really want to try as well. So a lot of the time, it's just uh, that that inside of me just battling with each other. But beside that, I don't feel like it's hard for me in terms of like creating content. I sort of have like an idea of what I want to shoot, how I want to shoot it. And even though when a lot of the time you see even like just me holding a burger or like me holding like a pizza or wherever it is, I kind of fine tune with just creating a color palette that looks very aesthetic. And that's just kind of me being creative without being overdoing it in a way.
Kind of like keeping your page aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
So, like, do you have like a schedule? Like, oh, I need to hit 3-5 posts a week, or, like, because I know a lot of people don't, like, some people post every day, maybe 3 times a day, just to keep themselves within the algorithm, or like, what they think the algorithm is doing. Because
Yeah.
I know that's an issue for everybody. It's like, oh,
It
you
really
got to
is.
post between this time and this time only on this day. Like, I know it's like a science. So, like, I don't know if like you have your own.
Yeah,
Like,
so there's a time that I like to post, usually like dinner time. But in terms of like how often I post, I used to do one post every day for 3 years.
oh wow.
So you could
Consistency.
yeah, so you could imagine like how much I went out to eat and just kind of like posting. Like I almost feel like it was full-time job.
Oh, definitely.
It is sometimes.
Yeah, and it was crazy because people didn't know, like at that time I was taking most of my photo on my iPhone 5.
Hey, all right. What was it? Episode 3 or 4?
3, I believe.
Gear talk. Sometimes it's not what gear you use. It's
No,
how
definitely.
you use
Yeah.
it. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, no. So I took it with my iPhone 5. I was in college, last 2 years of my college year, so usually like the hardest year. I was actually working 2 jobs, and I still don't know how I was able to pull it off just doing this whole food page. And like I told all my friends, I didn't sleep at all. Like I think I sleep like 4 or 5 hours a day, because like the only time I get to like reply back, like post something, was like when I have free time, when I go home at night. And things starting to get a little bit better. And yeah.
I think it's just the consistency. Like that's huge, right? Having to post
No,
every day.
definitely.
Just
You have to.
Okay, just right now, me thinking to post every like week is already a struggle sometimes. Like, oh my god, what am I gonna post?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just forget. Sometimes, and it's the inconsistency that I think makes me, I guess, in my own personal, not where I'm at in terms of like food blogging, right? And it just shows, right? The work you put in shows where you're at today, right?
Yeah, no, I think,
and it's a lot of work.
yeah, it's a lot of work. I tire on this too. Like, you have to be like, everyone always asks me like, what is the number one thing to kind of be successful on Instagram? Just how, like, how can I grow my page? And I always tell them consistency, because when you're being consistent, you learn a lot. Because of me going out and do this every single day, I learned how to take photo better. And even then, like, I didn't know how, like, when I first started, I didn't know how to use a camera. I just learned it like 3 or 4 years ago by myself. And because I was doing it so much, now I can actually do it professionally.
Yeah.
Just kind of from learning.
Right.
by
Just
myself.
like we always say with shooting, right? Just go shoot every
Yeah.
day. Like that's how you get better. You make something, and then, you know, if it's not good, make it again. Make it again, and then your 100th time, you're bound to get something that looks amazing. You know? So
Just perfecting your craft.
Yeah.
But like in anything, you have to keep working on it. Like you don't think that basketball players just go out there like, oh, I saw this on somebody else do it. Let me just go try it. Like no, they're practicing or like, you know, like James Harden. Like, oh, like his footwork. It's like, oh my God, like he practices that 1,000 times before he tries it in a game.
yeah,
Or like anything, like I think you mentioned it before, Michael. Like, oh, when you would go back years and look at the videos you made, and like now you re-edit them and it looks so much better, but it's the same footage, which is like, you know, skills you picked up throughout the years, like just continuously working on it.
oh, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's what I like to see as well. Whenever I see someone else work, like, you know, another creative work, the first thing I think about, like, oh man, like he must have done this 100 times to get to where he is at this point. And like even for Michael, like I see your video, like every time he start posting, like when I first follow you, like I almost feel like that's when you just start doing videography.
Yeah,
And from that to now where you're at now, like it's a huge gap.
yeah. I
And that take
appreciate
years,
that. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
And then people don't realize it's years of work.
Yeah.
Like people think like it's just like, hey Michael, what camera do you use? Like they can go to the store and buy it. Like no, like it's years.
Yeah, you can buy it, but can you?
Yeah, it's just
use it
years
right,
of work and, you know, like studying your craft, you know, getting better.
Yeah,
So,
just
Yeah.
Consistency. Going back to consistency.
No, for
and,
sure.
Quick point I want to touch on. We're talking about photos. You
Mm-hmm.
taking photos, learning a camera. So in photography, what is your? We know you do food photography,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is your favorite? Do you do anything else? Is food the only thing you do? If not, what is your favorite type of photography that you do?
So I think food is my main one that I like a lot. But then I think 2 years ago I started doing other photography. I have a page called Duc Shoot, which is like I shoot like street photography, portraits, anything that just anything that's not food, pretty much. And in terms of like what kind of photo I like to shoot, I like photos not necessarily in one category, but I like photos that give you a feel. When you look at it, you sort of resonate with it in a way where you feel like you are there and you experiencing that through the photo.
Okay, kind of giving like a feeling. to
Yeah,
the
like
photo.
just a feeling of it.
Yeah.
And those are usually my what I consider like my best work.
Okay. So I'd say similar with myself. I'm mainly a videographer, but for photos, I'm really like strict on what I do. Right, only food. I love doing food because I love food already itself, so I love to take pictures of it and then make you feel like you want to just eat it.
Yeah,
like,
just eat it.
You want to order it right now. I just want it, bring it out the screen if I could. You know, and then another type is like portraits. I love taking portraits of either singles or, you know, a couple or something like that. You know, that's one of my favorites because I like to show emotions, I guess, in a photo as well. You know, I like to say that, but then it's like that kind of goes with event photos, but I do not like doing event photos at all. I don't know. It's just it's I feel like it's too much going on, and the environment is like not an environment where I like to perform at. You know, if it comes to events, if I have to do it, video is the only way I'll do it.
Is it because of the fast pace where you can't really?
Yeah, too fast paced. I feel like everyone's gonna grab you to try to get a photo, and I became like the photo booth guy. You know, like I just rather do a video because like, you know, no one's gonna be like, yeah, I would interview me, like, you know. But people do ask me if I can take photos of them when I have a whole rig on doing video.
How do you feel about that?
I want to buy a shirt that says I'm a videographer.
It's like not a photographer.
Not a photographer. That is what I want on my shirt. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, really enjoyed knowing about you and just what you do and just, I guess, following your journey right throughout these couple years.
Yeah, Duke, I really appreciate you coming out and talking with us. For people who don't follow you, what is you want to plug your Instagram again?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Fooodeelicious with okay, it's 3 O guys, 3 O's, 2 E's. Damn, you might, I don't know,
Delicious.
man. Like,
Is it? Hold on. I made him forget his own handle.
it's
Let me
crazy
pull it up
because
for you.
it's crazy because my own follower can't even find me.
Oh.
Like a lot of people will be like, "Yo, I follow you, but I don't know how to find you."
Yeah, you're just like trying to type it in, like trying to guess it. Like, oh man. Oh.
Okay, so I put up his page. It's Fooodeelicious. Food Delicious. That sounded weird. Food Delicious. 3 O's, 2 E's on Instagram. Check out his page. He's also on TikTok.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I just started doing TikTok recently.
He just started doing TikTok, and he's also okay. I never know how to pronounce Zagat. Is it
Zygot?
Zygot?
Yo,
Zagat?
that's a good question. I think it's Zagat. Yeah, I think so.
If they
man.
hear this, they're gonna be like, "What?" But he's a top 101 food account. It's listed on his profile. I'm just reading it out loud. But yeah, check him out. If you live under a rock and you don't already follow him, I mean, you should, because he posts a lot of great content, beautiful food photos, and sometimes giveaways.
Oh yeah.
I'm still salty that I didn't win a PS5.
Wait, real quick on that. When you do giveaways, are they usually sponsored or is that out of pocket?
So I think I've only done some where it's out of pocket, but now it's just more like I would say I don't know if it's sponsor, because usually it's just kind of helping whoever that person is.
Wait, you bought that PS5? You said?
I asked that because I always see people like doing that.
Yeah. So the PS5 is funny story. So I work with this guy. He does a lot of my travel sponsor giveaway, and for the PS5 it was actually my PS5. I bought it. I bought it myself.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
And then I told him, and then we were talking about just doing a travel giveaway. So I told him, like, you know what? A lot of people want the PS5. So I told him, like, I can give away my PS5, just for the giveaway. But
breaking news.
He paid me back. He paid me back for that money, but it still was my PS5 when I bought it.
Still.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah, the people didn't know, like, yo, that PS5 was it wasn't that hard to get whenever I got it.
Yeah.
I would just happen to be awake at 4 a.m. in the morning. Me and my friend both got it, but even around that time, it was impossible to even get your hand on one.
Yeah.
It was like around like Thanksgiving,
Prices
before
was,
Thanksgiving.
like, doubled and stuff.
Yeah,
That's amazing. That's amazing. Again, it shows the type of character he is.
It's a good guy. Good guy.
Great guy. Sheesh. But yeah, I mean, if you feel like buying more PS5s to give away, like you can do a private one that only I get to like join.
only the close friend get it.
Only close friends. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just me versus me. So I just buy me a PS5. But anyway, yeah. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. It was great chatting with you and knowing more about your blogging journey, and hopefully we'll get you on again sometime soon, and we'll get to keep following your work and seeing your work. And with that said, this wraps up today's show. So hope everybody have a great rest of the week.
Let's catch y'all next time.